I'm going to share with you one of the most powerful videos you're going to see today and maybe for a very, very long time. Ex-commander of the Space Force fired for challenging DEI poses the last question at a town hall that Trump was giving only a few days ago. And Trump's response is absolutely glorious, amazing, awe-inspiring, and to me, emblematic of why I believe with every fiber of my being, this is the greatest individual right now that should be running our country and should be put back in charge so we can not only make America great again, but make America sane again. Watch this short video clip and then make sure you come back. I promise you don't want to miss this. Check this out.
We now have time for one last question. So our last question.
Make this a good one.
Our last one comes from Matthew. Matthew? He was an F-15 pilot. I won't hold that against you.
Mr. President, first off, I want to speak on behalf of everyone here and say thank you for taking time tonight to speak with our troops.
He's so sincere.
We got a lot of good-looking men in this audience, don't we? Huh?
He said a lot of good-looking men in the crowd.
A lot of good-looking women also, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of good-looking women too.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to revisit something you've talked about already. My name is Matt Lohmeyer. I was an Air Force F-15 pilot, and I was a commander in your newly created U.S. Space Force. I am also the first veteran of the Space Force because under the Biden-Harris regime, I was fired from my command and lost my pension for criticizing DEI trainings that were rampant in the military. Those trainings are still dividing our troops, and thank you for saying you would fire those few woke generals who are a big problem.
Big on.
I'm going to suggest that it might, in fact, require ongoing oversight and a persistent, consistent, watchful eye within the Pentagon to ensure this monster never returns to the Defense Department. Will you consider establishing a special task force, office, or position to ensure that these monsters never return to the Defense Department?
You know what I'll do? And I'm pretty good at this stuff. Sometimes you get it wrong. I'm going to put you on that task force. I think it's good.
Yeah!
Have your approval?
Yes, sir.
Have your approval? We're not going to get better than him.
Yeah!
You're right about it. You're right. And thank you.
So if you miss kind of, I don't have any subtitles for this video, but essentially this gentleman who seems like a stalwart in the military community, he was an ex-Space Force commander that was created by Trump, but he was fired for questioning the DEI ideologies that have been backed by Biden and Harris this entire time, have turned our military into an absolute joke, which in turn has manifested itself as turning America to a joke to the entire world, projected weakness all over the world. And Trump listened. He's so authentic, so real. He listened intently with considerable focus and attention on this amazing gentleman. And by the way, Matt, I sent you a message on X. Everybody follow me on X because I post a lot of stuff on X I can't post anywhere else. I'm at Professor Naz. Link in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. I sent you a message on X, Matt. I want you to come on our show. I would like to talk more about this because I know a thing or two about DEI, having worked in the public sector and taught at some of the most prestigious universities in the world. I know a lot about DEI, and I've been fired exactly the same way you have for questioning these DEI woke ideologies. So we have a lot in common. But President Trump then said, I'll do you even one better. The guy asked him, will you designate a special task force to oversee these military factions and how they incorporate DEI practices that essentially are discrimination, period. And he says, I'll do you one better. I'll make you the head of that task force. He says, we can't find anybody better. How about I just make you the head of that task force? Shakes his hand, honors that. You know he's going to do it. You know he always follows through when he does things like this in public. It's on the record. And he's done it a million times before. If this doesn't endear you to the type of leadership that we need, I don't know what will. I mean, this is just a small example, but it's an example that to me is a metaphor, a beautiful analogy of what Trump has consistently again and again and again reflected in his passion, his pride, his devotion, his dedication, his leadership, and his love of country. Time and time again, DEI has infected every institution, every organization, every industry in our great nation. I have called this the greatest contagion, the most infectious virus, 10,000 times more infectious than Ebola, COVID, or anything, because it's a psyop. It's invisible. You can't see it, but it permeates everything, and it is anti-American. Why? Because America is about the best person for the job wins. The best idea wins, regardless of arbitrary characteristics like skin tone, gender, race, religion, ethnicity, etc., etc. That is American. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is essentially racism. It's essentially discrimination because it's perpetuated by the fact that it's not on the quality of the individual. It's not on the actual results, skills, and acumen of the idea or individual. It's based on things that nobody has any control over. And it has literally destroyed higher education, our healthcare, the quality of processes, systems, goods, products across every vertical imaginable, our government. Kamala Harris, with Biden's own admission, Biden has said this. It's on the White House it's on the White House website. You can look this up. Biden has even claimed that Kamala Harris is a DEI pick. Kamala Harris is the worst vice president in the history of our country. Kamala Harris was district attorney and attorney general of my home state, which is now a dystopia. San Francisco, a shadow of itself. California, largest exodus in the history of our state. Largest taxes in the history of our state, largest illegal crossings of migrants in the history of our state, and the largest exodus of residents and small businesses in the history of our state. That was created by the principles and ideologies of DEI and wokeism by Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris. She had one task as Vice President of the United States. She was the border czar, but even more important than just names and monikers, there is actual receipts, records of Joe Biden, the president, the vegetable in chief, saying, I want her to take control. Early in his term, early in 2021, when he first took office, he said, I'm going to task the vice president to be the watchdog of the border. I've done a bunch of videos on this. There's a ton of videos, ton of newspaper articles and clippings you can find all over the internet that confirm this. And we have the worst border crisis in the history of our country. Over 20 plus illegal military-aged men that have been given the red carpet, that have been given funds, credit card, free rent, free food, free room and board, free clothes, free medical care, and now they're going to give them free down payments to buy homes. Why? Because they're sending them all to swing states, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, everywhere. Why? Because they want to assure that they will win the election unfairly, and they want to make sure that they retain power for decades upon decades upon decades, which essentially by having this many people in the swing states, I mean, literally funneling them, migrating them to all of these cities and towns in swing states, it ensures their uniparty victory for decades to come. These are military-aged men, by the way. These are not people or families like the Ellis Island immigrants that built our country, who were families looking for better places, looking for promise, looking for opportunities. And they actually earned. See, a lot of people think, well, Trump's against immigrants. Immigrants built this country. His father was from Germany. His mom was from Scotland. Of course, immigrants built this country. We are not saying we don't like immigrants. He's not saying that. Legal immigrants. There's a difference. These are illegal criminal migrants that are given the red carpet. They have usurped and circumvented all vetting processes and screening processes. Why? It's all done intentionally so they can win the vote because they can't beat Trump legitimately. That's why I say it can't be too big to rig. It has to be impossible to rig. My first count witness, I have seen this personally in the universities, not only in business and all the other verticals and industries I mentioned, but as somebody who has taught in some of the most prestigious universities in the world, I've seen DEI infect everything. I have seen Marxist, Leninist, woke ideologies infect everything. I now refer to them. I can't tell you how many emails I got, literally 10 emails a day. Oh, we got a DEI workshop, DEI conference, a DEI panel, a DEI. It's just, they bombard you. If you're an adjunct professor or a professor in the university, please comment and confirm this because I know you know what I'm talking about. That's why I don't call them higher education learning institutions anymore. They are essentially, unequivocally, indisputably indoctrination camps. I want you to make this video go viral. I want you to tap the thumbs up. It's free. It doesn't cost you a thing. Do it right now, please. Why? It's not for me. If you love your country and you want to see this go viral, tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing. Don't do it for me. It's not for vanity. It's for our country. Also, I really want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on DEI in general? Argue with me. I welcome all viewpoints. If you're telling me DEI is a good thing, do it constructively. Do it in the right way, critical thinking. I will not accept personal attacks and ad hominem or links. They all go straight to spam, so I never see them. So don't even waste your breath. But if you have something constructive to say, something that is backed by evidence that you've actually thought about this and it's critical and it's constructive, by all means, I welcome all viewpoints. I can't wait to read your comments. Leave them down below. Check out these videos coming up on the screen right here. If you haven't seen these already, subscribe and follow by clicking my face right there. You can also sign up for our free newsletter. It's free in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. And as always, may God bless you and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.